Hi there, Felicity LaRouge from Phenomenal People here. I've been reflecting on the sad news of Queen Elizabeth II passing yesterday in the UK. 96 years old with a sovereign reign of 70 years. Wow. I do have the greatest respect for that lady as a leader. Whatever you think of the monarchy or whatever your political view is about that, regardless, she was still an extraordinary role model as a leader. Not only was it a role that she didn't have a chance to say yes or no to, she didn't apply for it, she didn't study for it, she didn't go to university to take qualifications so that she could apply for that position. It was part of her heritage, wasn't it? She didn't have a chance to say yes or no, and at 25 years old, she was thrust into that role. And she did a pretty good job, I think. She was human, she wasn't flawless, but throughout she was stoic, she was dignified, she kept a brave face. And I think something that's so important for us as leaders is that lady walked the walk. She didn't do an awful lot of talking, did she? Occasionally on the Jubilees she would speak and she would do her Christmas Day speech. But she did demonstrate by her life how committed she was to her role as a leader, to be the sovereign of her country and the Commonwealth as it stands at the moment. And who knows what will happen in future years, but that was what she was brought up to, and she never demonstrated any sign of wavering despite what was going on in the country with terrorism during the 70s with the IRA and the miners' strikes and all the different prime ministers that she saw in government, all the different parties, COVID, all of the things that she saw and lived through as the monarch. She was an extraordinary role model, I think. There's no record of her. Of course, don't get me wrong, she's human. There would have been, humanness expressed behind closed doors, but she didn't badmouth anybody. She didn't, there was no public inappropriate behaviour. I can remember the Golden Jubilee 2002. And I was living in London at the time, and she and Prince Philip travelled down as part of the Golden Jubilee celebrations. She travelled down the Thames River on the royal barge, and it was a miserable day, as English summers can be, and she stayed on the deck throughout and was waving because millions of people were lining the Thames that come out to see her in the British summer. And she was there, probably had achy feet, probably was cold and damp, but stoic and dignified. She knew what her job was, and she followed it through without wavering. And, not just challenges with stuff going on in the world, she had challenges with her own family as well, and was still stoic, dignified and committed. And I remember reading what she said about the Jubilee when she gave her speech, that what the Golden Jubilee meant to her was a sense of gratitude, a sense of respect for the people and pride for the people and her role. And that lady had a vision and she stuck to it. And I think we need more leaders like that. And also her sense of humour. I loved 2012 when it was the Olympic Games being hosted in London, and she did a skit with Daniel Craig, who was playing James Bond, and pretended that she was going to go fly in a helicopter and jump out of the helicopter and descend into the crowds that way. Obviously, it was a double, but the fact that she was able to laugh at herself, she didn't take herself seriously. I was long-haul cabin crew for many years, and I never carried the Queen myself, but people that did the royal flights said that she did have a good sense of humour, and really you would need one in that role, wouldn't you? I think humour is something that really carries us through, and as leaders we need to remember that too, because a role which should be respected and revered sometimes can be very serious. So thank you, Your Majesty, for leaving such a legacy of how to live as a leader and walk your walk instead of just talking your talk. With much respect, and may you rest in peace.